second invocation given in 1940. If you remember, it was given for conditions of war. But before we discuss the second verse, I would like to remind you of DK's words. There are those who send thoughts of love to the group of evil men who are responsible for world disaster, believing thereby to influence them for good. I would remind them that love is essentially an impersonal potency or energy, dependent for its effect upon the type of form which it contacts and upon which it makes an impact. Pouring therefore upon the selfish, materialistic nature, it will only enhance desire and promote increased acquisitive aggression, and thus foster the lower nature and distort the true expression of love, leading to increased evil activity. Pouring upon the selfless, the pure, and the disinterested, it will foster reality and true love. And I will remind you too that the heart is connected with a life aspect, for there is the seat of the life principle, and there is the life energy anchored. The healer works entirely with the life aspect. Even though at the moment the perfect healer is non-existent, but the principle of working through the closed and sealed point within the center, that Buddhic point within the heart of the center, still applies. So this is the aim of our healing group. This is the way Christ worked, and this is the way we will endeavor to work as well. So then this is what DK is referring to when he said that the new group of world servers act as channels for the principle of directed purpose from the avatar synthesis, involving capacity to direct energy. This is what we do through the ajna. We direct the energy, and we have understanding, and we have intent as well, because we know why we're sending this energy, and we have a desired end. And this capacity overcomes obstacles and destroys all that stands in the way, because the energy that we are using is the life energy of the jewel within the egoic lotus of our group soul. So it's a destruction which will be brought about by that strengthened life within the form. And we, as the new group of world servers, we are part of that hierarchy, the heart of our planetary logos. So therefore, like attracts like. So we send out Buddhi, and that will attract the strength, the life within the chakras, and we will strengthen that life aspect, which then will overcome obstacles and destroys all that stands in its way. So it's worth reiterating this point. So let's now discuss the second verse, which is, let the souls of men awaken to the light, right down to let it be spread abroad, Almighty One. This second stanza refers to humanity and its reactions. into the possibility of interplay between the two groups of spiritual lives and humanity. So then let's take 2 lines at a time. Let the souls of men awaken to the light, and may they stand with massed intent. Which light is DK referring to? It's the light of their own soul. Let them realize that they are light in their very essence. DK equates soul with light. The nature of the soul is light. Experience of this light is achieved through mind control. The quality and the major characteristic of the soul is light, we are told. And Sri Krishna, one of the previous incarnations of Christ, he remarked, having pervaded this entire universe with a fragment of myself, I remain. And what is that fragment? It is the soul of all things. And that soul brings light and spreads enlightenment. So when these two centers, humanity and spiritual hierarchy, are more closely aligned and related, light will break out among the sons of men as a whole, just like light breaks out in the individual aspirant. And this much to be desired event can be brought about by the spiritually minded people in the world, by the men and women of goodwill, by world disciples, standing with massed intent. This means with a unified, united focus, a thing as yet rarely seen and much needed at this time. That is, they stand together, united in their purpose, hence their massed intent. When humanity has fulfilled the conditions through a focused mind, through rather a focused mental demand based on correctly formulated massed intent. Note DK's words here. Mental demand. It's an intent. So again, emphasizing the will on the mental plane. Then will come the affirmation from the spiritual forces. And the Aquarian age will be predominantly the age of synthesis. Again, array 1 word, and light. Uranus is the ruler and is ray 7 associated with ray 1. And light comes from Jupiter, ray 2, soul, light. So the combination of these two will, or synthesis and light, will be predominantly the qualities of the Aquarian age, which we are trying to establish, to bring these qualities down on earth. But DK tells us that we have to distinguish between intention and desire. So many people are animated by wishful thinking, hoping, prayer, but so few are motivated by intention. And he defines intention as that unbreakable, immovable determination that a situation shall be handled, that what is needed in order to release mankind assuredly must appear. For such is the mental intention of the focused minds of many. So I would ask you, DK tells us, to give much thought to these words, must, intent, and to differentiate with care between intention and desire. And I took the liberty to look up the etymology of the word intend, seeing that DK is emphasizing this word. The English word intend comes from the Latin intendere, which means turn one's attention to, strain in the quest of something, to be zealous, literally to stretch out, to extend, to project. So it comes from two words, in, which means towards, from the Pi root en, meaning in, and tendere, which means to stretch, from the Pi root ten, meaning to stretch, to project. So therefore we can see here that word meaning to project your mind, to stretch your mind in a particular direction. That's what intention means. So putting it in our context here, the group therefore turns its focused mind to the light of the soul. They stand together, united in their purpose, that is, their must intent. Now let's look at these two other lines. Let the fiat of the Lord go forth, the end of woe has come. The ending of the present evil situation is therefore a cooperative measure. And we've seen this before. The blending and the fusing of hierarchy and humanity is absolutely essential, so that then through humanity and through hierarchy, then we can have a united invocative appeal to Shambhala and beyond. And here we have, in this connection, we have the appearance of the Lord of civilization, who voices and engineers upon the physical plane the fiat of the Lord of liberation and of the rider from the secret place. He aids and makes possible, owing to his control, the precipitating upon the earth and in the arena of combat of the power generated by the Lord of liberation, expressed by the coming one, the Christ, and focused through him as the hierarchical representative in Europe. So who is this Lord of civilization? So if we look at the structure of hierarchy, we can see the head center there, Sanat Kumara, and the rest of hierarchy is his heart center, where the Christ, being the head of hierarchy, is this Buddhic point, this jewel within hierarchy, the heart center of hierarchy itself. And he presides over the three main ashrams, the Ray 1 of will directed by the Manu, the Ray 2 ashram of love and wisdom, guided by himself, the Christ, and the Ray 3 of intelligence. And this is presided by the Mahachohan, the Lord of civilization. And he in turn, presides over Re 4, Re 5, Re 6, and Re 7 ashrams. And this is what DK meant by he is the embodiment on the planet of the third intelligence aspect of divinity in its 5 activities, because the ray of mind is divided into 5. There are 4 aspects: Ray 3, Ray 4, 5, 6, and Ray 7. So this Mahachohan, the Lord of civilization, is therefore the head of that third major ashram in a hierarchy. And this vast ashram is controlled by Master R. He is the Lord of civilization, and his is the task of bringing in the new civilization for which all men wait. It is a third ray ashram and therefore enfolds within its ring past knot all the ashrams to be found upon the third ray of active intelligence, the 5th ray, and the 7th ray. Because there is a very close relationship between 3, 5, and 7. They are the hard rays, as they are called. All these ashrams are working under the general direction of Master R. He works primarily through the masters of these 3 types of ray energy, that is ray 3, ray 5, and ray 7. He himself at this time is occupied with a 7th ray energy, which is the order producing energy upon our planet, the ray of ceremonial order. And through the activity of its energy, an effort is therefore being constantly made to arrest the ugly chaos of the present and to produce the ordered beauty of the future. Master R can be regarded as acting as the general manager of hierarchy for the carrying out of the plans of the Council of the Christ. Though he is the head of the third ray of aspect and is in control, therefore, of these 2 rays of attribute mentioned above, that is ray 5 and ray 7, he himself doesn't wield these forces because he's one of the 3 heads of hierarchy, and his work cannot be confined to the activity of any one ray. But he works through the ashram of these rays, but he himself works primarily in cooperation with the Christ and the Manu, the 1st and the 2nd ashram, ray ashram. It is he who then in many ways makes the work of his brothers, that is the Christ and the Manu, possible. Their plans and their desires are submitted to him, and through him pass the instructions to a large number of the Diva agents, because remember that he is the third ray of intelligence. Therefore, he materializes these plans and makes them happen. He concretizes them, he precipitates them. The Master R is the regent for Europe and America. These regents hold in their hands the reins of government for continents and nations, thus guiding, even if unknown, their destinies. They impress and inspire statesmen and rulers. They pour forth mental energy on governing groups, thus bringing about the desired results, whereby cooperation and receptive intuition can be found amongst the thinkers. So Master R concerns himself especially with the future development of racial affairs in Europe and with a mental outgrowth in America and Australia. DK tells us that the major weapon now being used by the combined forces of evil is chaos, disruption, lack of established security, and consequently fear. And we know that. We are experiencing it. We're right in the middle of it. The chaos produced by indifference, the chaos produced by uncertainty, the chaos produced by fear, by starvation, by insecurity, by watching others suffer innocently, and the chaos produced by the warring and conflicting, ambitious elements in every nation, without exception, we are told. These are the factors with which Master R is attempting to deal. And the task is of supreme difficulty. And I think that we can really relate to that. The entire rhythm of international thinking has to be altered. And that constitutes a slow and arduous task to bring about this new civilization of cooperation and goodwill. The evil personalities which in every country are responsible for the chaos and uncertainty have eventually to be replaced by those who can work in cooperation with a rhythm of the seventh ray and thus produce ordered beauty. And that's no mean feat. This major ashram is therefore confronted with two elements in every land and nation. Those who hold on to the bad old things of the past, and those who work for the extreme opposite of this point of view and for that which is new, the new world order of the Aquarian age, based on goodwill, right human relations, and cooperation. So under the influence of this seventh ray energy, balance has to be brought about and preserved so that the noble middle way of right action and right human relations can be safely trodden. The task of Master R is, however, lightened by the fact that the seventh ray is coming into activity and the potency is increasing year by year, and also with the start of the Aquarian age with Uranus bringing in ray 7 as well. Master R's task is aided by the intelligent work done by the ashram of the English master, who works consistently with the awakening and the arising masses. This master is the one who started the labor movement. This is why I also call him the labor master or the English master. This is regarded by hierarchy as one of the most successful attempts in all history. Now that's quite a statement. It is one of the most successful attempts in all history to awaken the masses of men in the middle class and the lower class to better conditions, and thus set up a momentum which, occultly speaking, swing them into light. DK gives us in Dyna 2 a diagram where he explains the relationship between his ashram and that of Master KH. So he says that the ashram of this English master, the labor master, is a lesser ashram within the major third-ray ashram, just like his ashram lies within the ring pass knot of the ashram of Master KH. So we can see then the similarity between the importance of this English master within the third ray ashram, headed by Master R. And this master is necessarily an Englishman, for the Industrial Revolution started nearly over 100 years ago in England. And don't forget that was written in 1940. The ashram, therefore, of this labor or English master is therefore occupied with worldwide economic problems, and also with a direct attack upon the basic materialism to be found in the modern world. The problems of barter and exchange, the significance of money, the value of gold, which is a basic symbol of the third ray of active intelligence, the production of right attitudes towards material living, and the entire process of right distribution are amongst the many problems dealt with in this ashram. The work done is enormous and of great importance in preparing men's mind for the return of the Christ and for the new age which he will inaugurate. So capitalists, labor leaders, financial experts, and thinking workers and members of all differing ideologies which are prevalent in the world today are to be found working actively within this ashram. The work of this master, we are told, is outstandingly successful in preparing the intellectual principle of the masses for the eventual right recognition of the Christ. So it's preparing men's mind to recognize when Christ will be coming, then the whole world will recognize him as the Messiah, and not like what happened 2,000 years ago, where he was crucified. A right sense of values is being developed here. And in the right direction of this potent labor group in every land lies the foundation of the new civilization. Now that's a very important statement. The right sense of values is being developed. And in the right direction of this potent labor group in every land lies the foundation of the new civilization. So they've got a lot of work ahead of them, these two masters. It is nevertheless this third ray energy as yielded in the ashram of this English master under the direction of the Mahachohan, the Lord of Civilization, which will force a right attitude towards materialism, which will bring about a balance between the material values and the spiritual, and which will eventually thrust back into futility the forces of evil which have for so long distracted the world of men. And DK here says, I am choosing my words with care. So that right balance between money and right human relations, of sharing, cooperating with one another, right human relations between employer and employee, between neighbors, between businesses, and the general public needs to be rebalanced and remastered. So we have, therefore, the Lords of Liberation mentioned in the first paragraph, reached by the advanced spiritual thinkers of the world, whose minds are rightly focused. Then we have the rider on the white horse, or from the secret place, reached by those whose hearts are rightly touched. And then finally, you have the third, the Lord of Civilization, Master R, reached by all who in the first two groups can stand with massed intent. So a quick summary here: the Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity will stand consciously related and dynamically in touch with one another. The will of God, the love of God, and the intelligence of God will thus fuse and blend on earth and in relation to human problems. Conditions will consequently be brought about and energies will be set in motion, which will end the rule of evil and bring war to an end, and through the victory of the forces of light, recognized and aided by humanity. And the last two lines: the hour of service of the saving force has now arrived. Let it be spread abroad, O mighty one. So what is this saving force that DK is referring to? It's the synthesis of these three energies of will to good, of love, and intelligence. Evoke through our invocation and the response of certain divine potencies, the rider and the Lords of Liberation, and through the Lord of Civilization. So this is the saving force. So the synthesis of these three energies represented by Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity. Though it is a blend of the energies of the three centers referred to above, in other words, Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity, it is, we are told, primarily the energy of the divine will, which will be its outstanding characteristic. The will to power of the forces of aggression, that is, can only be dissipated when the highest aspect of the same energy is given free rein amongst the sons of men. That's a very important statement, friends. The will to power of these forces of aggression can only be dissipated when the highest aspect of the same energy is given free rein amongst the sons of men. Hence, that's why we are invoking through that second invocation, the Lords of Liberation and the Rider and Master R. The divine and spiritual will carried on the impulse of selfless love can and must be evoked for the destruction of the selfish and wicked will to power rampant now on earth under the direction of the Focus 7 in Germany. That was back in 1940, but it is focused through individuals nowadays as well. So the hour of the saving force has now arrived. What does he mean by that? We know now what the saving force means, but what does it mean that it has already arrived? Well, on the united work of these three, that is the Lords of Liberation, the Rider and Master R, representing Shambhala, hierarchy, and humanity, if humanity can succeed in calling them forth, will come the alignment and the correct relation of these three great spiritual centers of our planet, a thing that has never occurred before. And we know from Raise and Initiation that DK does tell us that even though it's tenuous, but the relationship between these three centers is now established. So the saving force must therefore be spread abroad. Today, the need is for the spread of the saving force to take hold of our minds and to control from that directing center, meaning the heart, for it embodies the needed salvation at this time. And it will take the united efforts of all these three focal points of divine expression on our planet to make this possible. But DK tells us it can be done. So therefore, whenever we say these invocations, we've got to know, not only believe, but to know that it can be done. If Master DK tells us that it can be done, well, then we must trust him that he knows what he's talking about. Thank you, friends. And last week will be the last, next week rather, will be the last, which will be the last paragraph of the explanations. And now if you would like,